It's important for the state of California to close the digital divide because there are still parts of the state and citizens in our state that don't have access to high-speed internet. Our organization represents rural California, and there are so many locations in rural California that do not have access to high-speed internet. It affects a number of areas in their life. It's not just being able to watch Netflix at home. It has to do with the economy, with their health care, education, and public safety. Through the high-speed internet, they could get access to telemedication, to other higher level technology, medical services, have easier communication with that field. In education, the students can have more access to the research tools that are necessary. Many of them can maybe access it at school, but they can't do it at home to do their homework because they don't have access. In the public safety arena, it makes a significant difference for public safety and their communication and their ability to respond to things such as search and rescue. And that can be an issue for people that are visiting the rural areas as well, where there's thousands of people visiting rural California on a regular basis. So there's a real need to close that gap in the digital divide in California. In the economy side of things, small businesses need it to be able to expand their markets, to reach more customers, to innovate and to have increased relationships with others that they work with, even if it's just simply a placing and providing orders and receiving orders. Those sorts of things would make a big difference in the lives of rural communities. CETF has made an impact in closing the digital divide in a variety of ways, most of which I think is just raising the level of awareness, bringing to mind for technology becomes like a regular part of all of our lives. We all sort of expect it and know it. We're used to it, and it just becomes something we take for granted. But there are still a lot of the parts of the state, in some of the underserved communities in urban areas as well as in the rural areas where there's a lack of technology and high-speed internet. CETF does a great job of raising that awareness, of convening large organizations or large meetings of multiple organizations together to discuss options and opportunities, creating consortiums of people to discuss potential solutions, and helping to bring money to the table. There are a number of challenges in closing the digital divide in rural areas of California. A lot of that has to do with just simply the geography and the topography of the land, the far distances between locations, etc. Also, there's a difficulty with the terrain, and sometimes it's hard to get through and over the mountains, etc. Some opportunities to help deal with that would be for there to be public-private partnerships, contribution of public funds to help subsidize some of the shortfall and the resources needed, so that those families and those businesses, et cetera, can be served with high-speed internet. I really appreciate CETF's efforts in closing the digital divide and the commitment and the focus that they have. It's great to have them as an organization that has such a direct focus on closing this gap and this access to high-speed internet. So yeah, for 10 years, I mean, that sounds like a long time, but it's really not as things occur, and it's going to take more than 10 years more for us to do all the things that need to be done, and CETF needs to be a big part of that, and we're thankful that they are. If there's an increased awareness of the opportunities that the rural communities have to providing for the economy of the state in areas like natural resources and agriculture and recreation and energy renewables, et cetera, all that can't occur unless there's high-speed internet, or at least much of it can't occur cost-effectively and efficiently. The economy in the small areas of the state is predominantly driven by small companies. There's not very many large companies out there. The smaller companies need access to high-speed internet to be able to expand their markets, reach their customers, to be able to innovate, be able to increase communication with and relationships with other parties that can be beneficial to their business. With that enhancement in the economic development side of things, it would benefit the state as a whole as well, because they could be contributing to the broader state economy as well. I'd just like to see the legislature help with being able to open the doors to some of the needs that are there. There's a need for public subsidy. There's a need for innovative financing and public-private partnerships to help make it work. High-speed broadband can really have an impact on the lives of those who live in rural California, even significantly on the quality of life. Those of us that have regular access to technology take it for granted. We can go home and we can look at everything we want to online, from shopping to research, and look up our own health care issues if we'd like. In a lot of the rural parts of the state, they don't have that opportunity. So access to high-speed broadband could allow them to have improved technology to support their health care, even telemedication, to be able to access physicians they currently can't access. It would improve education of the students in the rural areas, being able to perform more research, be able to do that work at home and not be just reliant upon the computers that exist at school. It could be beneficial to the job creation. Small businesses can expand their markets with access to high-speed internet, even could export where they maybe can't do that today if they have that access. And that could result in them needing to hire more employees. There's job creation, those local economies improve, and more money is in those small communities for them to be able to do and provide other services and infrastructure and other services in health and human areas that are needed. So there's a real domino by not having access to it. Here we are in Sacramento, the capital of California, and like an hour and a half away from here, you can drive to an area that's a beautiful part of our state, and you can't use your cell phone, you can't access internet, you can't get any kind of a connection. And it just doesn't seem right that in the capital of California and this technology capital of the world that we can't have that kind of access. So you can imagine if they did receive that access, how that might have a positive impact on their quality of life. California Emerging Technology Fund, CETF, has had quite an impact on closing the digital divide in California. They've been able to bring resources to the table that are needed. They quite often convene a number of organizations that are interested in helping in that arena to talk about new ideas and opportunities to help to close the divide. They have developed consortiums and had multiple conferences and sessions that are very educational in helping us to see the need and helping parties to work together, and as well as bringing, again, resources and all to the table. So CETF has done quite a lot to help with California's digital divide, and actually we were very excited about continuing to work with them as we have in the past in cooperation to help bring more resources to the table. To hopefully innovate on some of the financing tools that are out there and help to create public-private partnerships and other opportunities to bring more resources to help with the and the underserved communities of California.